What's up everybody? It's Luke James, not the singer. If you're an indie artist looking for an album review and some promo, you can hit up Luke at redmattersite.com. And what I have for you guys today is my review for Kendrick Lamar's new, long-awaited album, To Pimp a Butterfly. And first of all, to all you people in the comments who have been asking me about my accent, no, I am not Irish and I am not Australian. I'm Nova Scotian. Now this album was supposed to drop on March 23rd, but due to some complications with Interscope, it ended up dropping a little bit earlier. This is Kendrick's follow-up to his critically acclaimed album Good Kid, Mad City, and there's a lot to get into here, so let's just jump right into the review and go track by track. Now clearly, I won't be able to touch on every single feature, production credit, and theme on this album, but I'm just sharing with you my own interpretation of these songs, so feel free to hit me up in the comments and let me know about your thoughts, ideas, and opinions. So this album opens up with the Flying Lotus produced track, Wesley's Theory, where we get a sample of Every Nigga's a Star by Boris Gardner at the start. And this really sets the Afrocentric tone for this album. Then, the funky beat kicks in and George Clinton speaks on the To Pimp a Butterfly theme, which on this song is about how labels pimp their artists. The verses on this track are about the problems that can arise from mishandling money, fame, and success, and the namesake of this song, Wesley Snipes, is no stranger to all of that, because of his past tax troubles. We also get a Dr. Dre voice message in the middle of this track, where Dre tells Kendrick that anybody can get it, but the hard part is keeping it. Referring to, of course, the money, fame, and success. At least that's how I took it. After that, we get the interlude called For Free. Here we have a gold-digging woman dissing Kendrick over some high-paced jazz production from Terrace Martin. And then Kendrick drops a verse that is very spoken wordish, and all about how this dick ain't free. He flips some crazy, rapid flows, and at the end, the woman yells out that she's gonna get her Uncle Sam to fuck him up. And of course, Uncle Sam is one of America's nicknames. So you can take this track in the literal sense of him arguing with this woman, but there's also the whole idea of America pimping black people as well as black music and culture. And that idea flows nicely into the next track, King Kunta. This is a funky, DJ Quick sounding track produced by Soundwave and Thundercat, and Kendrick spits about his come-up while also comparing himself to Kunta Kinte from Roots. But I already did a full track review for this song, so if you want to know more about it, just check that out on my channel. Up next is Institutionalized with Bilal, Anna Wise, and Snoop. And the funk and jazz influences on this album continue. On the hook, Bilal sings that shit don't change until you wash your ass. And this song to me seems to be all about how a person can get stuck in their old ways and old mindsets. As Kendrick spits, I'm trapped inside the ghetto and ain't proud to admit it. Institutionalized, I keep running back for a visit. It's kind of like that saying you can take the person out of the hood, but you can't take the hood out of the person. Then, on the second verse, Kendrick touches on the disparity between rappers who floss too much and people who might be looking to snatch up some of what those rappers have for a quick come-up. Snoop Dogg frames that second verse beforehand with his bridge as a way of letting us know that the verse is coming from the perspective of one of Kendrick's friends. These Walls with Bilal, Anna Wise, and Thundercat is next. And this is one of my favorite tracks on the album because the beat is so smooth and it kinda has that neo-soul feel to it. The Walls seems to refer to a woman's sugar walls in the first two verses. And in the last verse, the beat changes up a little bit and the topic of prison life or prison walls comes up. Because the woman whose walls are getting demolished in the first couple of verses has a baby daddy who's locked up. Now the next track, You, is the opposite of the Love Yourself anthem, I, because it's all about Kendrick questioning himself and battling with depression. This beat has a very dark feel to it, and it kinda reminds me of something that Eminem could have had on his first Marshall Mathers LP. The beat switches up to some depressing horns about halfway through, and in a broken voice, Kendrick continues to spit about dealing with the death of his friends, mental health issues, and alcohol abuse. It's just a brutally honest and very powerful song with a lot of feeling and emotion in it. But things get a little bit more uplifting and inspirational on the next track, which is called All Right. This one is bass heavy and is produced by Pharrell and Soundwave. And on the hook, Pharrell sings that we gon' be alright. Kendrick flips some great flows in his verses, and I really like it in the second verse when he asks, do you want a house or a car, or 40 acres and a mule? To me, that was a simple and effective way of asking, do you want something that just comes and goes, or something that you can really work with and possibly build upon? This is one of the more lighthearted tracks on the album, and it'll definitely thump in your car too. The interlude For Sale is up next, and this is a jazzy track that seems to be all about Kendrick battling his temptations and trying not to sell his soul. This is followed up by the song Mama, where on the second verse, Kendrick spits about everything he knows, from street shit to conscious shit to Compton and beyond. By the title, I obviously thought that this one would be about his mama, but it seems to be about his rise in the rap game and how far he's made it. And that song flows into the next one, Hood Politics. Personally, I wasn't a fan of the whole boo-boo stuff going on in the hook because I just thought it sounded funny, but it's still a great song, and some of the bars on this are cool. Like when Kendrick compares the Crips and Bloods to some political parties, and when he gets at the music critics by spitting, critics want to mention that they miss when hip-hop was rapping. Motherfucker, if you did, then Killer Mike would be platinum. I just thought that it was pretty awesome that he shouted out Killer Mike, because as we all know, he's been spitting his ass off for quite a while now. After Hood Politics, we have How Much a Dollar Cost, with James Fauntleroy and Ronald Isley. And this song tells the story of Kendrick meeting a homeless man and not giving him $1. But later in the song, Kendrick finds out that that homeless man was God, so now he's not going to get into heaven because he wasn't willing to part with a single buck. Shitty deal. It's a cool concept, and the next song with Rhapsody, Complexion, has a very cool concept as well, as it's all about how skin color shouldn't matter. Especially when it comes down to the different shades of brown, because we all know about that dark skin, light skin bullshit that goes on. I really like that Rhapsody was featured on here, because she's one of the best female MCs out, and it's cool that she got to shine on such a grand stage. And this topic of skin color carries on into the next track, The Blacker the Berry, which dropped back in February and blew all of our faces off. This song is all about that black pride and other issues, but I did a full track review for that one too, so just check it out on my channel for a more in-depth look at it. Alright, we're down to the last 3 tracks. You Ain't Gotta Lie, Mama Said, is mostly Kendrick doing his singing thing, and again, the production is very smooth and jazzy. This track is all about the people who like to front and flaunt in order to feel good and like they have worth. And it kind of feels like Kendrick might be taking a little shot at some of the basic rap music and basic artists out there as well. Then we have I, which received a lot of mixed reactions when it came out, but thankfully, the version on this album is much better. And it sounds like a live recording too, which is cool. I like that his vocals aren't as alien-like, and the female vocals singing on the hook are a really nice touch too. This song fits into the album nicely because it lightens up the mood after all the heavy content happening on this album. And there's also a bit of a skit and a cappella thrown on the end of this too. But lastly, we have Mortal Man. This is a 5-minute track with the Kendrick Lamar and Tupac interview put on the end of it to stretch it out to about 12 minutes. Well, obviously it's an edit of Kendrick Lamar asking questions that are then responded to with some answers from an old Tupac interview. This track finds Kendrick questioning the loyalty of his fans as he asks, when shit hits the fan, is you still a fan? And apparently this song was greatly inspired by his love and respect for Nelson Mandela, as on the hook he spits, the ghost of Mandela, hope my flows, they propel it. So in the end, I really don't have many gripes about this album at all. I like the overall theme of black culture, pride, and issues, and the inclusion of jazz, funk, and soul elements throughout really give it a lot of heart. I think that this album performed live would just sound incredible. Now, I don't consider myself to be a Kendrick stan, and I'm one of those people who liked Good Kid, Mad City, but I wasn't blown away by it like a lot of people were. But this album right here is more to my liking as far as the sound and the content go. And I truly believe that it has the potential to be labeled a classic. I'm not saying that it is a classic because it's a bit too early to tell, but for me personally, there's just not much more that I could ask for from a hip-hop album. The content is deep, relatable, and important. And he delivered his messages with some great bars, singing, and even some spoken word, which I'm usually not a fan of, but I think he pulled it off on here, and it all sounds great. Now I know that you can't compare all rap music because every rapper has their own style and agenda, but for me personally, I don't know how any rap album is gonna top this album this year. It's just so cohesive, balanced, and complete. And this is the first time that I've ever given an album a 5 out of 5. And I think it's easily deserving of that. But that's just what I thought about this album, so make sure you hit me up in the comments section to let me know what you think. And as usual, do all that other good YouTube and social media stuff where you like my videos, you share them, you follow me on Twitter, you retweet them, and you especially subscribe to my channel. That's the one that helps me out the most. Thank you for sticking it out with me for this long-ass review. If you made it this far, that's pretty impressive. I'll see you next time.